life, there are wounds that are self-inflicted, and there are wounds that come as a result of things that are not beyond your control. And today we have a story, very important story, about wounds that are self-inflicted. And to help us in this show is Toto, affectionately called Toto. Who is Toto? People would love to know who we are talking to.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you very much. Toto, affectionately known to everybody else, is actually Tonderai Maphosa.
Okay.
Right, born on the 6th of June at Mbuyana Hospital in Harare. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe I've checked. It was a Thursday.
All right.
And I grew up in an Adventist home to Professor Norman Maphosa and the late Antonia Maphosa. That is Toto in a nutshell. I don't know if I bumped across something that you wrote. You want to talk about that? That's part of who Toto is. Right. Yes, we wrote a book. I co-authored a book with my father, Professor Norman Maphosa. It's The War on Drugs. This is a book that was authored after seeing that it was important to put in writing the experiences that I had gone through, ideally probably to create a survival manual for someone else that might be in the same situation that I was in. Yeah.
Right, you are talking about what you were in, and you have a ministry that you do with your dad. Let's talk about that a bit.
Right. What I went through 15 years of addiction to drugs and substances. Namely, there was alcohol, cigarettes, marijuana, aka mbanje, codeine, diazepam tablets, cat, which is a form of cocaine, cheap type of cocaine, and crystal meth right at the end of it.
So that is what was happening. Sorry to interject. That was what was happening in the past. And maybe let's talk about what you do now as a response to what you went through.
Right.
Sorry for interjecting.
No. Thank you very much. That's perfectly fine. What I'm doing now, I am the founder and trustee of a trust that's called the Anti-Drug Addiction and Abuse Trust. We are two founders, me and Nomhle Ndlovu. We founded that trust because we felt the experiential part of my journey would help combat the drug menace. Should I say, I'm also a national drug and substance use champion. Yes, who's running with the strength is in you. If you can see, the strength is in you to turn down drugs. We are really telling people that they have got the strength within themselves. They don't have to look to find strength. You don't have to find the strength in anybody else. The strength is within you. So a lot of work that I'm doing now is helping those that are struggling with addiction. You're also going to speak to Professor Maphosa, who I affectionately call Papa, who is also in the battle with me on a parental perspective. He's helping parents also get through drugs and substances, amongst other things. That's what I'm doing. I'm also working with Pulling the Plug, Rewire Your Destiny. This is a show on the Bluffhill STA channel, where again, we are raising awareness on drugs and substances, where we are documenting the journeys of people through drugs. You know, this drug journey is a kaleidoscope of events. So we want to picture that. We want to give people a bigger perspective, and we want to inject our faith-based healing approach to dealing with drugs and substances.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing that bit about yourself.
Thank you.
Please stay tuned. Don't go away as we wait for the second segment of the show. Welcome back to the show. This is Painful Goodbyes, and I'm with Toto. Earlier on, I interjected you when you were heading towards the direction of the story. Right. You spoke about drugs that you were taking. Maybe let's start with where these things started.
Right. I think I'm just going to give a little bit of context about how I grew up so that we give the whole journey the light it needs. So my first collection, Professor Maphosa, my mother, SDAs, we grew up Seventh-day Adventists. So we know what is expected of an Adventist. I went to Cranbourne SDA Church, that's where we grew up. And then we moved to Solusi in about 93, 94, which is another Seventh-day Adventist institution. Went to Solusi Primary School, and then I went to Anderson, where I completed my grade 7, did my Form 1s and 2s at Anderson, and then I moved to Nyazura Adventist High School, where I did my Form 3 right up to 6. And finally, I went to Solusi University. So there is a very rich Adventist heritage in the family. Yeah, as far as it's the only thing I know. I say, if you cut me up, there's verses that just run through my veins like that. So Solusi, I got Solusi in 2005, in the pursuit of a bachelor's in business administration finance. And while I was there, Solusi, it was brimming a lot of people from different places across the globe. Yeah, we had Nigerians, Ghanaians, Americans, South Africans, Tswanas, Zambia. Solusi was just like that. So there was a lot of different friends that I came to know. And while at Solusi, my fees was catered for, accommodation, clothing, my books, everything was catered for. But, there's a night at Solusi where people would leave for weekends on Thursdays at Solusi. And the weekend was so long at Solusi, they would come back on Monday. So me having met new friends who were not really from a background that I was from, they would go out and they would come back. Where were you? We were in the club. And from watching what I would see on TV about club, I really felt I was missing out on something. These guys would come back and they would be hungover. What a hangover is you've been drinking last night, tomorrow you still have got the effects. And if you drink well enough, even the next day, you will have those effects. Right? If you mix a couple of drugs in the system, it could go to 7 days. So these guys would come back and they would tell me about how they've had a good time. And then I tallied it with what I would be seeing on TVs. At the club, these guys must be having a lot of fun. So I got curious. And I thought I was going to try it out.
So this curiosity then grew into something. There should be a first day when you started.
Right, exactly.
Talk about that.
This curiosity, then I then acted on the curiosity. I got into town with my friends at the time. The happening clubs, they're not there anymore in Bulawayo. But I don't know whether I want to say thanks be to God for that. But I don't know. But there was the Visions.
There is a replacement.
Brass Monkey. Well, these things never really go away. But it was Visions and Brass Monkey at the time. I went into Brass Monkey, and what I saw immediately when I got there was exactly what I'd been seeing on the TVs. Right, the provocative type of dancing, the dress code in there was something totally new. I was used to what I was used to, being a young SDA boy. The ladies in church have got their skirts right up to the ankle. There's modest dressing. I'm not ashamed to say there's modest dressing, but the type of dressing I saw in the bar was very provocative and seductive. And unfortunately, I was not really gelling into everything because I didn't have alcohol. I was trying to hold on to my principles. I knew alcohol was bad. I knew that smoking was bad, but I just was not fitting in. So I thought if I tried what everybody was like, if I conformed to what I was seeing in there, I might fit in. And you know what? I did fit in. I got my first alcoholic beverage. I'll never forget. It was the Reds Polar. And Reds is a cider. It's a sweet drink. It tastes nice. So, yeah, for me, it was just like taking juice. And true to what I thought, I started attracting all the dresses that, you know, yeah, when you buy alcohol in a club, you do attract people. Yeah, you do attract those ladies that are in there. And it progressed. The alcohol, these drugs, these substances are very disloyal. I like to call them demons because they then call in their other friends. That's when they called in the alcohol, called in the cigarettes. You had to be like this and like this. It called in the mpanche, the diazepam, the crystal meth, the cat. They all then just gang up on you. But let's remember, I was in school and Papa was not going to be financing any such habits, right? I couldn't even ask him for that. So I had to devise methods where I was going to feed that habit. Right? Well, what's going to happen when you take alcohol? It's a small science course I'm going to give to the viewers out there. The science of addiction is when you take alcohol, you build tolerance. But before that even happens, it hijacks the pleasure-releasing centers in your mind to produce a chemical that's called dopamine. So what dopamine is that's the feel-good hormone, right? Where you are supposed to be getting dopamine, where you're supposed to work for your dopamine through success at school, through exercise, through eating good food, you cheat the brain to release that when you take alcohol. So your brain is then tricked into wanting that alcohol to release that dopamine. That's where you get your cravings. Then tolerance kicks in. Where Toto was getting drunk on one bottle, I now needed 2. I now needed 3. I now wanted a different type of high, right? I now needed a shorter way to get high. Hence, all these other substances started coming in. Remember, I was at school, and how was I going to finance this? Yeah, unfortunately, my choice of financing this became theft. And that was the easiest thing for me to do. And tricking other students. I remember at the commencement of one of the semesters at Solusi, I'd been at Solusi for quite some time. 94, this was 2005. I knew the going-ins and the going-outs. I forged a receipt book, a Solusi University receipt book. I had one duplicate made in town. I got a team. I found an artist who was able to forge signatures. And when the students came to Solusi, I told them, hey guys, you've come, you know, I'm Tonderai Maphosa, yes? Yes, we know you, Toto, we know you. I'm the Vice Chancellor's son, you know that? Yes. Yeah, the school has asked me to create a line for students so that there were long queues. They were really long queues. They were long queues. So I got my own queue running and I got the students to start paying fees directly to me. Right? This was so I could get money to go and please those people I had seen in the bar. For me to finance that lifestyle. The school found out about it and they suspended me, but still that was not enough to get the craving out. I thought of another scheme, and this time I'd become more daring. I broke into the computer lab at Solusi University, the My Grace Mugabe Computer Lab, and I wiped it off the computers there. And this then now got me expelled. It got me expelled. Papa had had enough, and I don't know, I didn't forgive me. Probably it was going to set a wrong example. But Papa then chased me from Solusi to his place in Cranbourne in Harare. But I just want to highlight how this drug menace, I call it a drug menace, is so persistent, and how it will not let you go very easily. I did not stop wanting to take drugs. While at Cranbourne, because of the music that I listened to, we've got an AY Legion of Honor that states, honor Christ in what you listen to. I believe that's meant to safeguard your senses. It's meant to keep your appetites in check. Then There's an artist who used to sing, "I've got my own weed, sucker, so I ain't gotta hit yours." What he's saying is, I grow my own weed. I'm talking straight indoor. So what that is it is marijuana that is grown indoors. I actually got lights to help the plant grow during the day and during the night. At night, I'll turn on the lights. And I got 13 plants in my bedroom in Cranbourne at Papa's house. Papa came in, I believe it was the work of the Holy Spirit. He found the plants in my room, and I got my marching orders from Cranbourne. I had successfully gotten expelled from Solusi. I was now expelled from Cranbourne. The thieving did not stop after that. Papa became Director General at ZIPAM, and in order to get money from him, I would go and see Papa, could I please have money for airtime? Prior to asking for the airtime, I installed a screen recorder application in his phone. I got access to his passwords. I did bank to wallet transfers and sent money to my girlfriend. Unfortunately, Papa found out about that, and man, yeah, he popoted, for lack of a better word. He was so angry about it, and called the lady, called her father. He wanted his money. I turned to witchcraft to keep him silent about the event. But we serve a very powerful God, because nothing happened to Papa. If anything, I then started to go mad. I like to call it a bit of a Damascus experience, I believe. I started to go mad, telling people I was a prophet, I could prophesy, it was just a mess. So at this time, my sister Shami, after hearing that I had gone mad, Shamiso, the one who comes after me, came to pick me up in Highfields. Hey man, those girls prayed. It was Shamiso and my other sister Thelma, who is in South Africa. They prayed and prayed and prayed. And in December 2021, I managed to say goodbye to drugs and substances. Though it was quite painful, because there was a lot of friends that were there who I loved so much, who I thought were irreplaceable. But the drugs themselves, the high that they gave me, saying goodbye to that type of life was painful. But the life that is there now, I believe, the next segment is what I'm celebrating. But that was part of the journey. That was the story. And the time that we have, it was a up and down story. It was a story of seeing my friends who I had learnt with, who had done a lot better than go far ahead of me. And just a really painful journey. A painful journey. My mom passed. Quite sad about my situation. I remember she was, when she was on her deathbed, the family actually said, don't call Tonderai, because they felt it was going to stress her worse in the situation that she was in. So that's a bit of the story.
Thank you very much for sharing that bit. We see you had to say goodbye to your school, goodbye to your dad, goodbye to your home, family home, and the beauty is you said goodbye to drugs. And as we come back, we'll talk about the lessons that you learned from this. Please stay tuned as we wait for the third and final segment. Welcome back to the third and final segment of the show, Painful Goodbyes. So as we were talking, in my ears, I heard the story of the prodigal son. Right. And I think there must have been a father somewhere waiting, looking. What really brought you back home?
Right. What brought me back home was the love that I got from home. Mm-hmm. Right. During everything that I was doing, there is love that carried on coming from home. I got sick many times. My medical aid was fully paid for. As I was comparing the love that I was getting from home and this environment that I was in, when you're in a drug-related environment, there's really no love. People are just there to take advantage of you. The moment you've got money, they're all around you. The moment the money is gone, there is no one.
There is no one.
So remembering what it was like being home was very, very motivational in my stop. I knew that I was going to get genuine love from home. I also started to look at myself. I'd look at myself and what I was seeing in the mirror was so scary. I couldn't face my friends. I'd be walking in town. I'd see people I was better than in school, and I would run away and I would turn the other direction. And because based on my own scale, I put myself on a scale. I could not face up to those people. I couldn't face up to those people. So my conscience also, what I had been taught when I was young, did not give me any rest. I got to a point where I would steal enough money to be drunk. I would buy everything I needed to be drunk. I would buy the alcohol, the codeine, the marijuana, the crystal meth. And as soon as I'd take these things, my conscience started harassing me. Tonderai, you just stole that money. Pathfinder laws for you to keep the morning watch. Do your honest part. Care for your body. Are you caring for your body? This is my conscience. Your body is the temple of God, Tonderai. What are you doing with your body? Those lessons that I learned when I was younger did not give me any peace. There was no peace at all.
I want to talk also about what you lost when you hooked yourself into drugs. What is it that you lost?
Question. I lost quite a lot of things. To start with, when my mother passed away, I had a sizable inheritance. I lost all that. That is the material possessions. I sold everything and started to sleep on the floor. I lost my first my first wife. Right? I had a partner from, where I had a child with. I lost that, and I write about it in the book. I broke that relationship. I tried to make amends with my daughter, but she then goes on to say, I'm ugly. All I'll ever be is a stupid sperm donor. I lost that relationship with her. I then got into another the marriage, which I lost again because they could not deal with me being in drugs and substances. What drugs are is like their wives. So these ladies here could not be the 8th wife after all these 7 drugs that were there. They left, right? Trust that people had in me. Every time I would get into an area, every time I was somewhere, even if I hadn't taken anything from any of these people, I could see a certain resistance. Right? You lose a lot of respect when you're there. I lost my degree. I lost my degree. I was expelled from Solusi University, and I lost that. So I lost a lot of time. This is 15 years of my life which were unaccounted for. Right? So that was really, really lost. I don't know whether it was going to be the following question, but we have managed to gain some of that back again.
Yes, and congratulations for graduating. We want
Thank
to
you
thank
very much. Thank you very much.
At least you salvaged something that you lost.
Oh wow! I salvaged something that was lost,
yes.
And which is really to say to somebody else, for as long as you've got the breath of life in you, there is hope. Yeah, I remember just yesterday, I think they'll see the images of us graduating yesterday. But it was salvaged. If you've got life within you, there is a lot of hope, right? And just like this says, the strength is within you, right, to turn down drugs. And don't give up. It's warrior mentality. You've got to be a warrior. You've got to know what you want. You've got to have that willpower to do it. God has endowed all of us with special powers, which are the Holy Spirit, which is able to guide and bring you back, which have an imagination that gives you the power of vision, which are willpower, independent will. You choose for yourself to pick up that alcohol. You can choose to walk away from it. The self-awareness. Know where you're weak, where you're strong. You know, I know for a fact now that I'm weak when I go to bars, so I won't totally go up. I don't go there. I don't tempt the devil. I don't give him a chance. Right. And then lastly, we've got that conscience that always speaks to you. You need to listen to these superpowers that we call them, that God has given us. So yes, there is that which I lost, but I'm now using that as a platform to stand on and tell people about the ugly truth about drugs. You know, you can trust God to take a mix of terrible ingredients, but then give you a beautiful picture at the end.
So the strength is within you. Right. There are elements that you spoke about, spirituality, and where else can someone get help when they are stuck in drugs?
If you are stuck in drugs and you need help, you can contact us, the Anti-Drug Addiction and Abuse Trust, ADAT, on 0776 837 088. The Anti-Drug Addiction and Abuse Trust, I'll give the number again. It's 0776 837 088. There will always be someone on that line to help you walk away from drugs. And we offer a holistic approach to healing, where we also involve the families of those that are involved. We not only help the victim, the addict, we want to call, but the whole family as well. So contact ADAT and we'll be more than willing to help you on your journey out of drugs.
There you have it, friends. A lot about it is written in the book, and we could have shared more, but in the interest of time, just share one last word as we close the show.
One last word. The deception is in the pleasure that these drugs will give us. The goodbyes might seem painful, but it's totally worth it to walk away from drugs and embrace a life of sobriety.
Thank you very much. For me, Skumbuzo Due and Toto and the crew behind the scenes. It's a wrap.